one thing I wanted to note, if you're the floor leader on any of these House bills, don't forget, the House bills can be amended on third reader. So, when you present your second reader, it's not like the Senate stuff in, you just come back here and you throw these. Keep that stuff around for the third reader, because then, people ask questions and want to amend, and then there's like everybody's, they don't know anything about anything. So if you're the floor leader on, we're talking the House bill, so just I want to make a note on that. That said, okay, we've got two lists here, but as you can see on list 29, that is a consent before we take up, yes.
Same topic.
Yes, so Senator Kagan has a floor amendment to House Bill 716, and, respecting the process of the committee, she wants to explain this amendment and get the approval of the committee to put a floor amendment on House Bill 716.
Yeah.
So you can pull up House Bill 716 and then.
And I can remind you what this does.
Yeah, so why don't you do that, and then we'll discuss it so that she's got the support of the committee and can represent that when she goes.
Yes.
Correct, so this is a floor amendment. It's already through
second
second reader, so, yeah.
So this is a DHCD departmental bill that is about affordable housing and rental assistance vouchers and stuff. The bill is great. If you look on page 4, there's one piece of this. The Senate has already passed, and you're getting the amendment. It's just on the last page, and I've talked to Secretary Day, and he likes this idea. No, this is, this is the amendment. It's teeny tiny. Okay. Let me wait until everybody has it. Okay. Hopefully there are enough left for the floor. She's got. Thank you,
And we're talking floor amendment on House Bill 716.
And if you're going to toss it, I'll take it back to make sure we have enough for the floor tomorrow if it's approved by you guys. Thank you. So right now, as we know, there are a lot of changes at the federal level in federal policy. And the bill, as we approved it, as is on second reader right now, makes the change in indirect costs as 15%, which is what federal level is now. And it says if it should be the regular, it should be, sorry, I'm being a little brain dead. Right now, it should be the de minimis rate of the federal level, or it's been 6%. 6%.
Let's get this, and Senator Augustine walked in a sec. Again, it's a floor amendment.
House Bill 716, I wanted to bring it to the committee rather than just gratuitously doing it on the floor. So this is just basically conforming this in the same way we did indirect costs for nonprofits, which is making sure that if something crazy happens at the federal level with HUD, that we make sure that we take care of the Department of Housing and Community Development. So it would say the federal level is the level, but or 15%, whichever is greater. So right now it's 6%. The feds have changed it to 15, that's current, but what if they make it 0? We want to make sure that we can protect our housing entities. And so it just would freeze it at the current level or go up, not down. So we've done that with other stuff since we don't know what's happening at the federal level. Secretary Day thinks it's a smart security sort of protecting them move. And so I'd like to move this amendment.
Well, April.
And happy to take questions.
Yeah,
and
April might want to add a little more to this.
Well, no, but it's a question. And this is my maybe not understanding how the de minimis, what is it called? The de minimis rate works. Because right now, the way it works is the 6% is not a percentage of the cost, their administrative cost. It is a percentage of the total available funding for the program. Is that the same thing?
Yes.
Okay, that was my question. Yeah. Okay.
California even, I'll just tell you, administrative or indirect costs in government specifically, California even did a study, and California has no departments with indirect cost rate of 10% or lower. 81% of their departments have rates of 20% high or higher, and 76% have rates that are higher than 30%.
Wait,
So
before,
this is just.
can I just real quick
Yeah,
interrupt?
do you wanna
Because tell
introduce
us
your
who your
friends?
guests are. We want to give
sorry.
you your just due acknowledgement
These
here.
were some Howard University law students.
Nice.
Who were down just to see some of our process. There's a whole bunch of them, but they are now heading out. As I mentioned to you all, they spent some time in JPR.
Well, this is a way cooler committee. He should have brought you here, not there.
Yeah. Good luck. That's
Okay,
exciting.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, well,
Bye.
yeah, thanks for coming. Okay, we yield back to Senator Kagan. Go on.
Yeah, so right now, the bill, as it says now, it goes from 6% to the federal rate. The federal rate was changed to 15%. So rather than any danger of it slipping back down to something lower than we're doing with this bill, we want to put 15% as the floor. That's all this amendment would do.
Okay, can I just ask, just again, process, is there a way between now and you go to the floor, can we at least get something, you know, an email from Secretary Day or something that he's comfortable?
Sure,
Just something for the file. I think it
Sure.
would be nice to have
sure,
belts and suspenders.
happy to. Okay,
And then you can also represent that on the floor if you get any questions that Secretary Day,
yep.
yeah, questions. We'll go to Senator Simonaire.
So, does this have any impact on the total money, or is it just? No, okay.
Additional questions? Senator Watson.
How can it not be a fiscal note? So going from the 6 to the 15 happens when what happens? Is some kind of trigger in this thing?
Sorry? Just as the same way we did for nonprofits, when we just changed it to 15% from 10%, and there's no fiscal note in that.
I don't know about the nonprofit thing. You have to
Okay,
break-
that already passed the Senate and the House. So we are talking about, that's sort of an accounting thing. And so it just allows, things to be in the right boxes, and it enables better flexibility and coverage for the costs. But there's no fiscal note. Let me
all
get
right.
something in writing from Secretary Day, who can
Yeah.
explain how DHCD will work with it better than I can.
Yeah, okay, so you work on that,
Yeah.
and that would, I think, be helpful, and actually, if you send something, you can distribute around to the whole committee. Okay, yeah, okay, well, before we get to, yeah, we have a consent calendar, so let's just knock that out. We've got voting list number 29 is a consent calendar. These are all House bills where we've cross files, the Senate bills passed unanimously, that whole thing. And so, anybody want to separate out anything? Okay, we had a motion from Senator Simonaire, a second from Senator Augustine. No, just number 29. You should have two separate lists, 29 and 30. Consent calendar is just the ones on number 29. Okay, so, and any questions? Okay, all in favor of the consent calendar number 29, raise your hand. All opposed, that carries unanimously, so that's done. Now we'll move to voting list number 30. And so we have a bill we held, and we've got Kevin Canali here. This is a bill that is a Senator Augustine. Reason I would go first there, because I think Kevin needs to get out of here, but did we invited Jared Demarinis as well, or just to have a conversation about this? Okay, well, the bottom line is we held the bill, so we want to take the bill up. Irrespective of anything else that was held, we want to take the bill up. And I know Senator Kagan, has some potential amendments which we'd like to take up, but that's where we're at. So, yeah, and so yeah. Yeah.
Are we taking up the House bill?
We could take up the House bill.
Yeah.
And then your bill's on the list. We'll
Yeah,
see,
would
that.
be a conforming.
Yep,
for sure.
absolutely. So,
Yeah.
so go to the second page. We're looking specifically at the House bill. Let's see, which is the House bill, Senator Augustine?
983.
Okay, so we're going to go to House Bill
Yeah, it's on
983.
the front.
Is on the front page, and then the cross file, Senator Augustine, Senate Bill 685, which is on the back. But we're just going to talk about the House bill.
Yep.
And then where we land, we'll just do the conforming on the Senate bill. So, Stacy, yeah, well,
You want me to read it
Why don't
through?
we just rehash what the bill does, and Senator Augustine can weigh in, Senator Kagan can weigh in, and then we're going to, resolve this, so.
Okay.
Okay?
House Bill 983, Election Law, Local Boards of Elections Language Assistance Program. This bill establishes a language assistance program in which, 1, the State Board of Elections must identify, based on specified criteria, counties in which there is a significant need for language assistance for voters in the county in a language or languages other than English, and 2, local boards of elections in counties the State Board of Elections has identified must provide specified language assistance services, including the option for a voter to communicate with election judges, at an early voting center or election day polling place through a translator available by video conference technology. SBE must publish and maintain on its website a list of the local boards that must provide language assistance under the program by January 1, 2026. Senator Augustine has offered amendments beginning on page 17 of your packet. And these clarify various provisions in the bill, including the definition of voting materials, the date by which the state board must determine which counties need language assistance for voters. It requires the state administrator to notify local boards and the chief financial officer of a county if a county is required to participate in the program. The state board provides oversight of and not assistance for the program. Signage posted in a polling place under the program must be state board approved, and the state board may approve any additional language assistance services provided by the local boards. There is a standalone packet with Senator Kagan's name on it. There are 2 separate amendments in there. I don't know how you want to approach this.
Let me ask you, you say 2 separate from Senator Kagan?
3 Kagan amendments.
3 Kagan amendments, and how many Augustine amendments?
1.
Okay, 1. Are your amendments, Senator Kagan's?
Let the sponsor go first.
No, I'm going to let him go first, but I want to just know, are your amendments drafted to the bill without his amendment, or they, okay, so they're in conflict, they can't both be, okay, I just want to get the political landscape here. Okay, so we're going to start with Senator Augustine, the sponsor, about the bill, and then the amendment that you have on the table.
Sure, absolutely. So this bill,
Correct.
obviously, is the one that came over from the House. There were still some, what was shared with me was that the State Board of Elections still had some things that they wanted to work on with the bill, which I was fine with. Makes all the sense in the world. And so I got in touch with Jared Demarinis, who drafted up the amendments that are in this packet in the way that he felt would work and was also responsive to the needs of MACO. I shared that with the House sponsor, as it is her bill as well, who also checked on that with the folks who we've been working with on this. There were certain elements that we thought that were important that were held within that. We have agreement. Folks from MACO are also taken care of. Jared is making sure that there was a potential for a fiscal impact, but that's now resolved as well, such that the software that's going to be able to do much of this work will be housed at the state level. This thing's ready to go, and there's broad agreement on it, so I'm going to move these amendments.
And I think we were hoping that,
He's on as well.
okay, so we'll get Mr. Demarinis in here to just kind of make sure where he is on this. Oh, there he is, okay. Okay, so we've got that motion. Before we take any votes, Senator Kagan, why don't you articulate what?
Can it get on the floor at least? My gosh.
Yeah,
Someone
yeah,
give me a second.
okay, that's fair. Okay, we got a
Thank you.
motion and a second, so we have that in front of us. But before we take a vote, we want to hear from Senator Kagan about what her 3 amendments do and how they should be adopted.
Mr. Chair, can I hear
Yeah.
what concerns there might be with the bill as it is with the
Yeah.
amendments?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr.
Let's, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
and then
appreciate that.
and then we can bring Mr. Demarinis in here. So,
Okay,
and then we'll
thank you.
resolve it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So first off, let me just say that, that I support the concept of this bill, and I want this bill to pass. So let me just say that. My Gaithersburg-Rockville district is very linguistically diverse. I have passed 2 language laws, language access laws. Voting and having access to language access is really important, and I support that. I have spent a shocking amount of time on this bill, including about 45 minutes on the phone with Mr. Demarinis and Mr. Canali, listening to and sharing some of my thoughts and concerns about some of the challenges in this bill. I've also both had brief conversations and tried to have conversations with the Senate sponsor. I have also gone over and had a brief conversation with the House sponsor, who showed flexibility in hearing about some of the needed changes. So that's the
That's
backdrop.
just not
So if I can just let me,
You gotta tell the truth.
Okay,
what did you just say?
okay, no.
Got to tell the truth?
That's what
No.
it says.
What did I
Okay,
say
guys,
that wasn't
guys.
factual? Sorry,
Here.
no, this is important. I want to know what wasn't factual.
I spoke to my cross file. You talked at her. That's different than having a conversation, which was your characterization.
Okay, let's try to stay on the bill and the merits of the bill, the arguments about the bill, and let's try to stay away from the personal, okay? So why don't you
Just
continue?
for a visual, colleagues, these were my notes on 2 of the pages in this bill. I had a lot of, and I had more notes on the other pages. I don't take this stuff lightly. I'm, as you know, a word nerd and a grammar geek and attentive to details. I had a lot of questions. Some of them proved to be valid. Some of them I was mollified and satisfied that they were okay as is. So, let's start with the fiscal. It will cost $30,000 per county plus 10 cents per call for every voter who needs language assistance. Now, there is a 2% or 4,000 people limit here. When we pass laws, we are passing them for the current day and current data, as well as future censuses and future data that we do not know. We're talking about $720,000. One thing I think we need to do is make sure, and the Senate sponsor initially resisted and then saw the wisdom, we're talking about having the State Board of Elections pay for that cost, as we did. There was a Hedelman bill on on hiring education folks and helping with background checks without having an unfunded mandate. This is similar. We don't want an unfunded mandate. Prince George's County had a pilot program on this last year. Last year. It cost $30,000, and there were 20 times, and Jordan, I am not seeing the sheet. There were 20 times that the language access was needed for the various languages. Most of them were Spanish, and there were a couple Korean, and again, I have a lot of paper here, so I apologize that I don't have, Jordan, if you're able to, if someone can print it out and bring it again. That came up to an average of $1,500 per call, per voter that needed this information. In many places, in many aspects of our state, Spanish is the primary language that would reach the threshold. In Montgomery County and in many other counties, they endeavor to address this by having a Spanish-speaking election worker, poll judge who speaks Spanish, who can help the voter, in which case they don't need to call a language line or video. On page 4 of the bill, random, lines 8 and 9, it says video conference technology. So I worry about everything from privacy of the voter in video conferencing to access to Wi-Fi in some rural parts of our state and having the ability to actually get on a Zoom and retain that. On lines 16 through 18, it says a local board may provide solely oral instruction, which doesn't work if you're deaf, solely oral, or other assistance if the language does not have a written form such as, it's a sign language that's imprecise. It's called ASL. It's American Sign Language. There are other languages that are spoken in sign language internationally, but ASL is what's done here. And so those are small changes that are important. There's so many. So what I have in the 1-page, 2-page is a suggestion that we consider, and again, I had the conversation with Jared Demarinis and with Kevin Canale. The idea would be to make it opt-in, a may participate in the 2026 gubernatorial election, and let folks learn more, do the pilot, make it available, see how much demand there is, see how much data, and here we go, I have it on mine. In Prince George's County, there were 3 people in the primary who needed Spanish language assistance, and that was it. That was on May 14th, 2024. In the general election, there were 17 total people in Prince George's County, 1 who needed ASL, 1 who needed Korean, 4 who needed Spanish, and 1 who needed Tigrigna, which I'm guessing but do not know that might be an African dialect, but I don't know. I've got the time to connect, I've got the average call time, and the, so for a county that has a citizen voting age, a small one, I don't think Somerset or Wycomico or something should be forced to do this, pay $30,000 next year and have 13 people, and they might be all Spanish speakers, when they could have Spanish-speaking judges at the precinct for just no extra cost. The plan that I'm proposing with approval agreement from MACO and State Board of Elections would be that the state would pay for the access to the service. The counties would pay the 10 cents per call, 10 cents. So in Prince George's County, that came to a total of $2, 20 calls, $2. That's the primary and the general. And any hardware. So if there's a burner phone that they're going to use to get the language line on for the voter, they would have to have a burner phone or a laptop, however they choose to do it. So if you see on the bottom here, it says the technology, or you can have a bilingual election judge. So there may not be someone who speaks Tigrigna or Korean at that precinct, but they can try to have someone who speaks Spanish. Again, fixing American Sign Language, and then the last part of this amendment, to the extent practicable, we should afford the voters privacy. And especially if you all believe that video is the right way to do it. I think when voters are asking questions before they cast a ballot, I think they should be able to do that discreetly, privately. And ASL is a visual language. Anybody who speaks it walking by would know what the conversation's about. So I think having some expectation, where possible, some privacy would be a good idea. So this is the simplest version of the amendment that I offer for your consideration.
Okay, so why don't we do this? We're going to afford Senator Augustine an opportunity to respond. Your light's on if you'd like, but at some point, I think we...
My light was never turned off. I didn't turn it on.
Okay, I apologize.
Yeah.
So but at some point, I would like a little Jared Demare. So Jared, you know, obviously for the committee, you know, want to resolve this. I mean, obviously, we would welcome some input. You're familiar with the amendment that Senator Augustine has proffered that's now been moved in topic of conversation. You just heard from Senator Kagan some of the issues she has raised. So help the committee a little bit here. Your name's been referenced several times.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for accommodating me on this one here. You know, just for the record, I guess, Jared Demarinis, the State Administrator of Elections. So on some of the amendments that Senator Augustine proposed, we changed some of the terms to be more precise that are referenced in the law, like statewide voter registration application, statewide voter absentee ballot application. These are precise terms there. The idea then, I would also notify the county financial officer because they would have to, there is a cost for the counties that they should be aware of if they're mandated to be into this program. So those were kind of the changes that I had spoken with the senator about. I have no objections to the idea that that Senator Kagan has proposed, which is to have the state be the holder of the license, and then we would, get as many licenses or software applications that is required based upon the formula which this proposed law has here. I do want to have the counties, do the software and the calls, because then that's on, that's a burden for the counties specifically, because each county might have their own hardware already to be able to service this product or the solution. And so that gives the greatest flexibility financially to the counties, and the number of calls would also just be dictated at that level as well. So I think that those are fine, to clarify, amendments. As to extent practical to privacy for calls or to conversations, again, is that does not bother I would say the electoral process, and they will be the judges would be able to be pulled aside. We already have a training with election judges, about having, when an issue comes up or when a person just has a question at the polling place, what they can and cannot say. So they are already well versed as to helping voters, helping them cast a ballot, not necessarily the choices that they make, but what the process is. So this is just changing a little bit with the use of a translator. As for video or not video, then that is again, it gives a little bit more flexibility. This proposed solution has video, but it could also be audio as well. So I'm not, again, I think that with all these amendments here, there's nothing that would be something that causes heartburn to the state, or would impede the voting process and facilitate voting issues.
Okay, Senator Augustine, I need your help here a little bit to navigate this again.
Me
for those.
too. I'm very confused,
Yeah.
quite frankly. Jared, you just confused me.
Sure, I guess.
Let's just back up to this.
Sure.
I asked you, and you came up with amendments that you were comfortable with. Is that
Yes.
true or not true?
That is very true. Yes, I'm comfortable 100% with all your amendments. Yes, I worked with you on those amendments and everything else. Yes.
Okay. I also checked with the folks from Mako, and they said that they were fine
Yes.
with it the way that it is, which of course is the way that we did that. I mean,
Right.
is that, you can't speak
Well,
for
we've
that,
got-
but, yeah, you can't speak for that, but the one question that I do have here, Jared, because the one thing that came up was the software, the $30,000 for the software, for which it's just the 30, because we said that we would then allow, with the state would be the ones who would have it, and counties would be able to be a part of it. So it's no more than that. It's not just
Right.
720,000. That's just, I don't even know where that comes from. It's 30. It's the 30,000, and you said that you all were okay and were able to do that.
Yes.
Does that require an additional statutory change? I didn't understand that. I didn't think so.
I leave that up to you on that one there, but
I mean, my
we would be
understanding is
able
that it's
to-
not.
Right.
That the language that we have here in the amendment that we worked on, we would
Yeah.
be able to work from it just fine.
I think so. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what
right.
I was
But
thinking.
if you want-
I'm not sure why we're going through all this extra stuff. Thank you.
No problem.
Let's, okay, wait. We're not going to get personal here. Let's just stay on it. We're trying to craft a piece of legislation here with information, so.
And so, Mr.
Yeah,
Chair,
yeah.
we can, for me, it's like we can vote on the amendment that's on the floor right now. Then we obviously, it's still going to be open after that, and we can have another vote. We can vote again. But I mean,
Okay, before, I just want to make sure everybody knows what they're voting for, or what, you know, and there's a comfort level, and once I
Yeah.
think people feel comfortable, we can do what you just described, but I want to make sure everybody gets the questions on the table they feel like they want to get answered. So, Senator Washington, you have a question for Mr. Demarinis,
Or,
for
I don't-
Senator
I-
Kagan, Senator
just to
Augustine?
kind of-
Yeah.
Get us in a, good vibe here. So we all know that
I should add, Stacy's also in the middle of it, so she's also available for questions as well.
for sure. So, I guess this is committee product at this point, and we definitely we each have ownership of our bills and the way we specifically, write things. And so, in that sense, you have amendments, and the vice chair has spent time, because considering the bill as, our product collectively. So I just wonder, are we able to contemplate a way in which, the amendments that you've worked on and the amendments and the clarifications that she worked on, that we could work them together? I feel, in other words, just one second, I feel uncomfortable not being able to sort of look at the whole picture, like, in order to, just produce a product that is our best product. And we certainly could determine that it's too much detail, we can work it out later. But if he's saying, what I hear him saying is that at the time that you all worked on the amendments, sure, they were fine. And then it also seems like there was a separate sort of conversation looking at this set of amendments, and it doesn't seem like there's any problem with those. And so I was wondering if there's a way for us to talk about them together, but you're gonna. Yeah.
first
That's
of
for me.
all, I'm sorry.
Well, it could be forever who wants to weigh in on that. I mean, okay, we'll start with Senator Augustine, but I would like to hear from, Mr. Demarin. I guess.
Go ahead, Jared.
Jared, let's start with you, because it was a little bit mixed. Obviously, you were good with the amendments that are being discussed here, but then in assessing the conversations you had with Senator Kagan, it seemed like you were saying, well, I don't have a problem with that, which is, could you give us a little, I'm really, honestly, I think it's important for the committee to understand what that even means. So I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but you are the head of our State Board of Elections, so.
I think Senator Kagan's amendments go into they're not mutually exclusive of the other amendments, right? Like, I think that it just clarifies who pays for what. I have no issue on American Sign Language. I think that's a good change there as well. But I think the idea of who pays for what can be in the bill, or it doesn't have to be in the bill. We can work that out through regulations, or just that we would have.
Okay, well, maybe that's where I'd like to know what can be done outside of the legislative process. Maybe you could help us a little there. Back to Senator Kagan's point. Okay, well,
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
yeah.
I want to hear.
Yeah, let's do it in order, and then we'll,
My genuine question.
that's legitimate. Okay, so we'll start with Senator Augustine. Senator Kagan, I want to get to a place where we know what needs to be in legislation and what might be able to be done outside of a bill that maybe achieves some of the things that have been put out here by Senator Kagan, but let's just maybe we can get to that place. Senator Augustine, why don't you're the sponsor, why don't you?
Sure. Yeah. Again, that I heard, so there's a couple of different things, and I appreciate what you're saying about it being part of the committee product. And that's the reason why, Senator, I said, like, I've worked on this with Jared, with the House sponsor, got the agreement from MACO, and so I offer that, and I'm asking for a vote on that before the committee. But it is the committee's determination to do that. I'll circle all the way back, though, that as the sponsor of this piece of legislation, the intention here is to provide language access to populations And it's of a group of a certain test, if the area has 4,000 or is 2%. So it's limited in its scope as far as like that being an important part of the bill, and that remains in the bill. I worked on it, obviously. I got it to a place where the stakeholders and things like that were in a good place. We can always go, for anything, you can always go further and more. But what I would say to you, though, Senator, is I believe that today is Wednesday, and I believe that Monday is sine die. And so part of the reason why I'm saying, like, I'm asking for this committee to go ahead and move this so we can get this thing done, because we got a product that works for the stakeholders, works for the folks in the House, has a chance to move the needle for this group and for these people and for those people who are there. And that's the reason why I'm trying to move it
Okay,
forward.
can I just add one? Yeah.
Heard that the amendments were mutually
The
exclusive.
part where she says it's an
and
opt-out is
what-
not mutually exclusive.
No, I'm just presenting why I was saying that, okay, let's hear them together, because I had heard that they were mutually exclusive and that we couldn't just vote yours and if we agreed with something in here. So that's what I heard. But
I'm
you're
sorry.
saying he's saying they're not mutually
Entirely.
exclusive. So that, okay.
Can I interject? Because
Sure,
the details
Stacy,
in
we
here
could help a little
Are
interject.
definitely contrary and would not be.
That's what I'm saying. They're just
So
not the
if you
same.
want me to, I can
Wait.
explain what those are because they're important.
Vice Chair, here, just before we go any further, I just want to get one clear. Kevin, because there's been many representations about, just on the Augustine amendments that are in front of us, the senator has, I'm sorry?
And the Kagan amendments, because I
Well,
also ascertained.
okay, well, that's why we have Kevin here. Just let's, because Mako's been referenced multiple times here, okay? So give us some more information that we can roll into with Jarrett's information, and we can try to make an intelligent decision about all this, okay?
Sure. So I think that the conversation I'm hearing, so Mako is support with amendments on this bill. We were concerned about the fiscal impact. I think that amendments in the House sort of made that more clear in terms of what that would be. I agree with Senator Augustine. We had conversations. I think there was a miscommunication between maybe Jarrett and I about the cost. And we think it's best that the state has a contract that counties can then, we would pay, like Jared said, per call, but the state has the software at the state level. We didn't think it made sense for every single county to pay $30,000 or whatever it is to buy this service. And I think we all are in agreement on that at this point. So I think that may have been some of the source of confusion, but from where we sit, I think the amendments offered by both senators address that issue and clarify the issue. As to whether or not it needs to be in the bill, I think we'd prefer it in the bill. We've had a lot of back and forth over the years about who pays for what. I know Mr. DeMarinis is amenable to that, so it's the wisdom of the committee, but I think it would make sense from our perspective to clarify in the bill, who pays for what.
Okay, we'll go to Vice Chair Kagan to make a comment, and then I don't want
Thank
to
you.
make this endless. At some point, we're going to have to make, some decisions here. Okay,
Thank you,
which
Mr.
issue
Chair.
do you want to weigh in
I'm
on?
staying on the payment, because
Okay,
this is
okay.
money, and I think we have to worry about an unfunded mandate, and I think we don't have to put it in the bill is in contravention to what this committee has done before. So if you remember, the bill that I referenced was Senate Bill 845, which was Senator Heddleman's bill about educator screening. It was called NASTEC, Educator Identification Clearinghouse. And on that bill, page 2, lines 10 through 15, specifically talking about the Maryland State Department of Education. It says the department shall, and then on lines 14 and 15, it says pay any applicable fees and dues associated with membership in the National Membership Organization. So the plan was the state would pay for all the costs, and then all 24 counties would have access to it. So my suggestion, Mr. Chair, is that because we have a lot of paper and a lot of different issues, that if we take each issue on its own, and then Stacy can use a magic wand and mush them together or something. But I personally think that an unfunded mandate of $30,000 for what might be 20 calls in a year is absurd. Now, Senator Augustine is correct. There is a 4,000 or 2% number in there. But in Wicomico County, for instance, with the increasing Latino population, they're going to be required to have access to a Spanish language line at a $30,000 per year cost, plus 10 cents, plus having video, according to the bill, the way it came in, and that strikes me as nonsensical. It seems to me that A, if they have access to it because the state already paid for it, or B, a different part of my amendment, and I'm not trying to deviate, if they have someone who speaks the language that the person needs, then they don't have to make the call at all. So that's common sense. Many of our voters would use the Spanish language text. So my suggestion would be, and I realize that Senator Augustine put his amendment on the floor for our consideration, but I might suggest, with the senator and the chair and whomever's approval, that we go issue by issue, and I think we ought to start with the money. So my suggestion would be that we put language either identical to or similar to that which we have already passed very recently, which would indicate that the State Board of Elections, with Mr. Damaris's approval and Mako's quite insistent and my strong feelings that we shouldn't have an unfunded mandate, the board, the State Board of Elections shall, whatever languages, pay any applicable fees and dues associated with membership in the National Membership Organization or whatever that is. So, Mr. Chair, I would suggest that that might be a good place to start, and we can go little bit by little bit if you want.
Well, okay. Sarah Augustine.
Thank you. So, based on what I have heard, I would seek to amend my amendment to include the language, conceptual amendment that Stacy can work out that would codify the payment of the software that was discussed, and also incorporate the very appropriate ASL language as was discussed, and hopefully we can move forward. That would just be my hope, would be that would be it, and that we could.
Okay, so that's incorporating one of the main
the two main ones that were discussed, and what I heard also from the stakeholders. That's the reason why I said that, because both, Jared mentioned it, so those are the two ones that I would suggest.
Okay, so just back to you, before we talk about any other issue, what was suggested incorporates certainly where Mako is coming from, and Jared, you seem to be comfortable with that modification
that
ASL. To what we have in front of us. Okay, before we do anything else, it's not clear to me when you talk about one of many issues. Can you just in terms of the topic area?
Do you want to?
No, I think we should get the whole landscape. I think people.
Differences.
Yeah.
I mean, and some of them could be substantial in how the bill is drafted.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That's
Well,
what I'm suggesting we do piece by piece, but that's.
okay, well, we have one topic,
I mean,
but
I've taken the two
Yeah.
parts, speaking of the committee
But-
piece that.
okay, how many, I mean, so the committee knows, because, we've got other bills on the list. I'm trying to manage the time here. How many other issues are we talking about here?
One of the other issues that is in my amendment on page 1 would make this an opt-in for the 2026 elections and then make it mandatory for 2028. That lets everybody sort of get used to it. We get data from the pilot. We got data from Prince George's County that showed that it was $1,500.10 per call, which is absurd. And I think we want to figure out how hard it is, how Wi-Fi is in some of our rural areas. Can people make a video call in Cecil County? Can people have so I think, opt-in, there is already applicability under this 2% or 4,000 in Montgomery County, Prince George's County, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County. That would be for Spanish language only. Korean and Chinese for sure in Montgomery County. ASL, I don't have data on, but that's according to census. So the idea of opt-in for 2026 and make it required in 2028 would be something else for your
Okay,
consideration.
we have a question from Senator Hester on this.
The question is from Mr. Demarinis, related to the opt-in question. Is the cost like going to be 30,000 per county, or if the state does it, is it only like the 10%, the 10 cents per call? Like, what is the actual cost per county if the state purchases the overall system?
So, I mean, this would be a the fiscal note part here, but overall, we would buy the license or get the license and then have it for users, right? So the $30,000 cost for the license, or, you know, whatever software service provider that we procure with, would then be borne by us for a number of licenses or a number of usages for everything. So that's where the 30,000 comes in. And we use that because of what the pilot program occurred in Prince George's. That was what the license fee was. And so there would be a one-time fee with multiple license use.
Per year.
That's what we would be looking for procurement. I
So
don't want to
is
get
this-
into, I guess, at one point here, it gets a little bit dicey for me to start telling about this, because I think then I get into procurement law violations and everything else.
But is it $30,000 for the state, or is it $30,000 times each county?
No, the way this amendment and what the both senators agreed would be, the state would get it. So it'd be one $30,000 license with multiple users.
And so the counties are only on the hook for paying 10 cents a call, which is going to be like $2 or $3.
Plus hardware and software for the devices that would allow them to have these video or audio calls.
And how much do those cost?
That depends. That's flexibility for the counties, right? So like Prince George's, they already have the devices themselves. So therefore they wouldn't need to purchase or do anything. A Montgomery County may have the devices themselves that could be used on election day or through early voting. You know, that gives the counties the flexibility to figure out their solution for this program.
I really didn't envision this would be an hour conversation here.
At least we had a consent calendar.
Okay, Senator Washington.
Now, because we've gone to some place where some things that seem really critical, as Senator Augustine said, who pays for what? You don't want to just hear a promise. You want to see that in the bill. ASLs, like, definitely. So that was the thing that's been consistently. I think we'd like to know, so that, we can vote the bill and get it going. Are you able to write regulations addressing some of the more detailed points, and can we direct those? Or are some of the issues that are being raised, must they be, I guess we want to know what are the must-dos and what is something that can be determined later.
I think I put that on the table earlier. I really
know,
would
but-
like to get to a place where
Yeah.
some of the issues that are being raised, that have to be in code. Okay, so just so you've raised one issue. Can you, how many other, I think the committee would just like to know how many other issues, and then we're going to go. Yeah, Senator Augustine, yeah.
Ask him, though, because my understanding is that he can implement it now. There would be no reason for a delay. I mean, that was my understanding at the state board. Why do we need a delay?
Okay,
Jared?
Jared, did you hear that question?
I
from
did.
Senator
I guess on this idea of regulations, I like
No,
writing.
not that, Jared. Back on the discussion around it, my understanding is there's no need for a delay. I mean, it's at the state, it's centralized. Why do we need a delay?
To me, I guess the thing is, right now, according to all the census data, it would be in 2 counties, which would probably be the same 2 counties that would honestly opt into this program if it was optional or not. It would be Montgomery and Prince George's. Prince George's has already done it. I don't want to really speak for Montgomery, but they always have a robust language assistance outreach program, and I would
So
assume
then there's
that
no
they would-
reason to put that into the law. Like,
Right.
why would we put that in the law then? I just don't
Yeah,
understand.
and those are the only 2 counties that would be affected by this law for the 2026 election. And as we move forward with it in 2028, it would be fine. So yes.
Okay.
Is, you know, we have voters that need these services right away, and we don't want to delay it. And so if we can do it for 26, I think I support that as well. And so just moving that forward. Thank you for
Okay,
that.
just Senator Kagan, what other issues?
The bill. So right now, it leaves no option for people to have Spanish language, Spanish speakers as judges. So part of at the bottom of my amendment, page 4, line 2, if you see after the word technology, sorry, hold on. That, on page 4, line 2, that elects to, so it would be, at each early voting center and election day polling place, a voter who has a need for language assistant in a designated language shall have the option to communicate with the election judge through a translator or a bilingual election judge.
Is it page 4 of your amendment packet?
It is page 4 of the bill. Okay. Let's see if I can get you the reprint. Yeah, page 4 of the reprint. So if you look at lines 5 through 9. So at each early voting center and election day polling place, you guys with me? Lines 5 through 9. Kevin, should we get you a copy of the bill? Is that helpful? Okay. A voter who has a need for language assistance, sorry?
I'm looking on the laptop at the reprint.
Now, it's in the voting list.
It's line,
can see it in
page
the
21
voting
of the
list.
packet, Senator
Yeah.
Carozza.
Of the current voting
Yeah,
list packet.
page 21, and it's page 4 of the bill,
okay, though.
page 21 of the packet. At the bottom, okay, lines 5 through 9. And at each early voting center and election day polling place, a voter who has a need for language assistance in a designated language shall have the option to communicate with the election judge through a translator, and then I suggest, or a bilingual election judge. So that's,
Also a translator?
Yeah,
sorry?
I mean,
I
that's a
think
translator.
I think that's, it's the same thing.
who is made available by means of video conference technology. That's what
Well,
we
then you
want
could
to.
take out the video
We
technology.
can
just
take
leave
out the video
translator.
technology. I'm fine with that.
Wait a minute.
So if you said through a translator.
This is the way it was
Sure.
crafted.
Beginning with who, for the video technology, you could just say translate, and you wouldn't be hemming it in with just a particular type of technology. I think that's because part of it.
So just stop the translator.
Correct. And then you wouldn't have to put election judge or anything
We
else.
wouldn't
because
have to deal with
as long as
video.
it's a translator, meaning somebody who speaks a different language than and willing to communicate with another person.
This would not then preclude, obviously, the use of
Correct.
either a video or a translator.
Correct.
Okay. I
Okay,
amend
period
my
after,
amendment one more time. How's that?
period after translator on lines 8 and 9.
Okay, that's amenable to you?
Yeah,
Okay, let's try to get this done
I'm
here.
trying.
What else you got? Senator August?
What's wrong?
No, these are good. We're
Am I
approving
not
the
trying?
bill.
I am. I'm
We're
taking
approving-
stuff.
We're approving the bill. What are some other issues? Let's go through it and see what stalemate or
So
something
the
that is.
senator has already agreed to add the word American for sign language. We've already done the funding. This is not, I asked for 3 different amendments, and I only have 2 of them back. So unfortunately, not everything is in here.
Well, I
but-
think you also need to point out on page 20, which is a big difference between yours and the senator's, is the difference in the threshold.
Thank you.
So I'll just note that if you're looking at, on page 20 of the packet, and you're looking in lines, beginning on line 10, so Senator Kagan is proposing a change here where on line 10 after 1, it would say, for a county that has a citizen voting age population of 200,000 or fewer individuals, more than 2% of citizen age population of the county. In line 14, the or would become an and in line 15, the threshold would say for a county that has a citizen voting age population of more than 200,000 individuals, more than 400, so it would change the threshold.
This language already was worked out and agreed to. That, I mean, this is a part that wanted to state the way that it was. I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, I was willing and worked on some of these other ones, but not that one.
Okay, so, okay. Senator Washington.
Thank you. You know, when we are assessing the size of voting districts, it says it's the age of persons over 18. We don't make a distinguish between citizens, and is that correct? It's just the voting age population over a certain, 18 and above? It's just that language of citizen, resident, voting population is not something I'm aware of.
It's the language, though, Senator, that was worked out to be consistent. This was worked on because it's the U.S. Census Bureau is the way that they're counted.
They count citizens?
This is the way that it's handled, and this was worked through with the advocates as well.
Okay.
With the advocates, state board, and like, yeah, they worked to get this.
Senator,
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I mean, I really want to focus on, let's start with the fact that there was a product that the State Board of Elections and MACO were in agreement. Now with Vice Chair Kagan's proposed modifications, some of which now we're incorporating into the bill. I'd rather focus on the ones that are sort of more obviously a good improvement or modification or concession. I'm not sure that this one necessarily makes the cut, but.
Mr. Chair, I think that was important when it wasn't clear that SBE was going to 100% cover the cost. This was a way of protecting our small counties. So I will recede on that one.
In light of that, this is not as important.
On page 4, line 26, the State Board may adopt regulations to carry out this title. I think we want that to change to shall.
Say again, where?
Line 26, page 4 of the bill, which is page 21 in the packet still. It has line 26, the State Board may adopt regulations. I think we need to say shall.
I think that was Jared's language. I mean, that's what
Jared, weigh in on this may versus shall stuff, okay? Come on. We need your help, man. We want to get some closure here.
he put that.
I defer to, either way, I have the authority to write regulations. I will write regulations.
I'd like to propose that it be shall.
Okay.
Okay, how about that, and then let's just cut it off there, to be honest with you.
Fine.
Okay, so Stacy, did you get all that? We're going.
I have in front of me.
Yeah, rehash for the committee.
I have, let's make sure that I've got this right. Okay, so, are you doing the opt-in or not?
No.
Okay, just making sure. I have the funding piece. I have the shall adopt amendments on.
Shall adopt regulations.
Yes. On page 4, in line 8, we're putting a period after translator and striking the other language. And I think that is the consensus, and the ASL. And the ASL.
Okay.
And then the only other question is to the extent practicable about privacy.
He said he has it covered. Can we, I think we're good. I mean, it's just.
Jared, I don't know if you heard me. I said, as we discussed, to the extent practicable and worried about voter privacy in all of this.
Okay, but you did indicate that
Is that something you want to include in your regs and we don't need it in the bill?
We can do that in our regs. I mean, that's.
Okay,
Sorry.
that'll be we're gonna task you with dealing with that in regs.
I'm gonna not do that.
Okay, so we had a motion on the amendment now as modified with these.
Modified.
Does everybody kind of get where we're at before we take a roll call vote? We'll do a roll call. Okay, Senator Carozza? Yeah.
Voting on the Augustine amendments, and then
Amendment to the amendment.
and then we're voting on, and then
Oh, these, and then we would do, okay.
Correct.
Right, just to be clear, it's the Kagan amended Augustine amendment.
Okay, what-
The Augustine bill.
Right. But on the, okay.
Didn't say Kagan. So all the changes that Stacy just went
Yeah,
over.
you'll get your due credit. It's all good. We're all good. Okay, let's just, we're going to work off of a modified, I think we're going to call it,
Bill, you can come on the Senate bill.
what's that?
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry?
handle on who you calling to speak on.
Yeah, okay, guys, just again, just for process, don't jump in. You got to be, it's like the floor, you got to be acknowledged. So, for the folks back home, it look like chaos. We don't want the impression that we're chaotic here. Okay, now, we have a motion and a second on a modified Augustine amendment as reflected by a lot of good input from Vice Chair Kagan.
Absolutely.
For the record, the millions of people out there on the internet, Vice Chair Kagan had a lot of very constructive feedback on improving the product. And with that, we're going to take a vote on the modified amendment as, and we're going to do a roll call
All right, Senator Kagan.
This is on the amendment.
on the amendment.
Aye.
Senator Kagan, yes. Senator Augustine?
Yes.
Senator Kagan, I'm sorry, Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion? Yes. Senator Gallion, yes. Senator Watson?
Yes.
Senator Watson, yes. Senator Attar? Senator Attar, yes. Senator Brooks? Yes. Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carozza? Yes. Senator Carozza, yes. Senator Hester? Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington?
Yes.
Senator Washington, yes. Senator Salmonair? Yes. Senator Feldman?
Yes, those amendments carry unanimously. We now have in front of us House Bill 980.
Another amendment.
Oh, I didn't know that. What's your other amendment?
It's in the
Okay.
packet.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, here, wait,
Everybody-
on this one, I'd like to get a vote on that amendment, and then we'll take
We
this
did.
one up
We just did.
separately. Well, no, we didn't do anything. We're doing a roll call.
We're done.
Okay.
We just did it.
I'm sorry, absolutely correct. Okay, that amendment carries. That was adopted. Now we're going to go to Vice Chair Kagan for a separate amendment. Is it just one additional amendment? Okay.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's funny. In the, Stacy, is it in the packets or no? It is, it's a second. Okay, there's a Kagan packet of amendments. It is starting at page 3. Should be on your desk. Everybody with me? Page 3, it says at the top, amendment number 1 starts with on page 1, line 2. Everybody with me? Holding it up? Yes, thank you, Senator Gallion. 743928/1. Got it? So this bill, even before amended, and certainly now after amended, is going to make it easier for Marylanders to vote. It's going to be easier for Maryland voters to understand what it is that they're being asked to vote for. This committee and this body 3 times has sent to the House simplified ballot measures, and that has passed unanimously again this year, 47-0, that says we think voters ought to be able to understand what they're going to vote on before they're asked to vote. And so the Ways and Means Committee has not yet seen fit to send that out, and we believe that this is important. And so I would like to suggest that we amend the simplified ballot language into this bill so that they not only understand the words that they're being asked to vote on in their language, but also the text of the ballot questions. So happy to take questions on this proposed amendment.
Okay.
And Kevin Canale, Chair Demarinus, if you want to speak on this as to the single subject and the fit in this bill.
Okay, well, before we go to them, I'd like some feedback from the committee.
They're both, well, this is helpful.
Okay.
for them to weigh in.
Okay, any questions for the two, for either Mr. Canale or Mr. Demarinus? If not, we'll go to the sponsor of the bill for his reaction to this amendment, Senator Augustine.
First thing I would ask is a question, which is, did we send this over to the House yet?
Great question, totally fair question. I got it at, this amendment came through today at 4:07:07.
No, I didn't mean the amendment, I meant the bill. Did we vote this bill this year?
Yes, ma'am, yes, sir,
Okay,
47-0.
Okay, so then if the bill is already in the possession of the House, I just would ask, we've already shared it, we've already given it to them for them to work on. I don't see why we would send something twice. It just, they have it. I just don't see why. I would ask that we just allow for this piece of legislation, which we now, thank you, Senator Kagan, for making it better. I would ask that we take this product that we have at this point and just move it forward.
So thank you, Senator Augustine. There are a lot of examples where we need to sort of knock on the door of the House because the House doesn't do it the way we want, or they don't do it rapidly, or they play games, or whatever it is. One example is Senator Brooks has a bill that this committee and this body has passed out, and it was then added to the budget bill because the House wasn't moving it. That happens all the time, and that's legislating. And so when we're talking about plain language, we're talking about foreign language, and we're talking about simplified ballot, not jargon, not legalese, not passive language.
So this is what we're going to do on this one.
So I'd like to move
Somebody can
favorable
make
on
a
this.
motion, we'll do a roll call.
Yep.
Okay? And
I'd like to
yeah.
move favorable on inserting this amendment into this bill. And the
I haven't
House,
heard a second, actually.
Well, you need a
I
second.
know.
You
Don't
need a
think we-
second. You need a second,
haven't
but
heard
we'll take a question from Senator Watson.
please.
Are you saying that this amendment is identical to the bill that got voted out of here?
Thank you for the question. It is identical.
All right.
And so the House will hopefully defer and pass this bill as is with this, with the amendments, the amended version of this bill, the Senate and the House bill, and that both bills will pass the Senate and both bills will then pass the House.
Okay, yeah, and I might have a thought on this, but Senator Simoner.
So I'm just trying to understand the strategy. So we sent it over. Are you trying to insert it in here because the House wants this bill and that gives you leverage? Is that basically?
That's well said. I'm not sure I would have said it that way, but that's one possible interpretation.
Now, y'all.
It
Okay.
says we really care about this bill. We've sent it to you 3 times,
Okay.
and we think it's good for democracy.
I guess respectfully, I'd rather just keep it simple. To me, this is adding another something to the equation that I don't, we've sort of established where we are on that topic. They know that. When we send this back, if they feel that this is important, I myself would like to keep where we sort of ended with this sort of compromise of sorts with a lot of your input. But everybody can do their own thing. Everybody, it's like a vote of conscience here. So we're gonna go.
If there's not a second, I'll withdraw.
I haven't seen a second,
Yeah.
first of all.
Yes, there
Let's-
is.
Okay. Okay, let's take a vote. So did everybody know, we're either, you're put it in there or not? And you did?
Okay, we voting?
Okay, well, everybody's a senator here, everybody gets a vote. So we did have a motion second, so we'll do a roll call, and we'll see what happens.
On the amendment.
Senator Kagan.
Aye.
Senator Kagan, yes. Senator Augustine. Senator Augustine, no. Senator Gallion. Senator Gallion, yes. Senator Watson. Senator Watson, yes. Senator Attar. Senator Attar, yes. Senator Brooks. No. Senator Brooks, no. Senator Carozza. Yes. Senator Carozza, yes. Senator Hester. No. Senator Hester, no. Senator Washington. No. Senator Washington, no. Senator Simoner.
Sure.
Senator Simoner, yes. Senator
All right,
Feldman.
what's our vote count?
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
It
yeses.
didn't.
1, 2, 3, 4 noes.
Wait, one more time?
6 to 4.
6 to 4 right now.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter what I do, so. Okay, amendment carries. Okay, let's take the bill up at this point. 983 as amended. Let's
Move
just.
the bill as amended?
Okay, move favorable from Senator Kagan. Is there a second from, is there a second?
We're gonna work to get the bill passed, Senator.
Okay.
I'm not a mind reader. I don't know that you are either. I want the bill.
Okay, is there a motion to move the bill?
Move favorable.
Okay, we had a motion from Senator Simonetti, second from the Vice Chair. And here's what I would say. Okay, why don't we leave it here? Senate Bill 983 as amended. This is only in the House bill at this point. It's here too. Senate Bill 983 as amended. Let's do a roll call.
All right, Senator Kagan.
On final passage on the bill, the House bill. On the House bill, final passage.
Just on the House bill.
Yeah, aye.
Senator Kagan, yes. Senator Augustine? Yes. Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion? Yes. Senator Gallion, yes. Senator Watson? Yes. Senator Watson, yes. Senator Brooks? I'm sorry. Yes. Senator Attar? Senator Attar, yes. Senator Brooks? Yes. Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carozza? Yes. Senator Carozza, yes. Senator Hester? Yes. Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington? Yes. Senator Washington, yes. Senator Simonetti, yes. Senator Feldman?
I'm going to vote yes. I will say, just because of how this all ended with like potentially one, but I think we should take a day to report this to the floor, and you could have a motion to reconsider or something to that effect. I mean, I don't want to rush this thing. I really want, back to your sponsor, because you're on the camera here, you're saying Bill's dead. I really want to know, like what's the real deal with the House of Delegates here? Now, I know somebody's not happy about this, but I don't want to send a bill that's important over there without knowing the landscape, quick. I don't want to jam it over there. So we voted the bill. It's passed. It's going to get to we're on Wednesday. But I also think we should have a little conversation with the House. Yes, Senator Attar.
Just echo that, and I'll say why I voted for it, because I did file that bill last year, and I think it's important. But if what the senator is saying that this is going to kill the bill, I don't want it to kill the bill.
I think as a committee, we really need to know exactly what we're doing. And so with that, Senator Augustine, as far as the Senate bill, what would you like to do with that? Would you want to hold that in abeyance? Would you like to conform it and move that forward with the kind of the same sort of conversation? I mean, I just,
I mean, right now, we could be in the holding pattern and never,
Okay, so the bill has passed, and I just really would like to know a little more as we move forward with this, okay? It's an important bill. Everybody okay with that? Okay, we have other bills here, and let's just kind of move forward here with the list. Can everybody I know this took a lot longer than I thought, but let's just go back to voting list. Where's our voting list? Where's my voting list here?
Thank you, Chair. I'll leave now.
Okay, thank you, Jared. Okay. Where's my list? Is that an extra one? Here, I got it. We're good. Here, take it. No, I got it. Okay, guys, let's start at the top of the list, House Bill. Stacy, we're going to start with you. House Bill 150, and the cross-file of Senate Bill 252. Stacy, let's just start there.
House Bill 150, Child Care Centers Certificated Staff Ratio Requirement Alteration. This departmental bill alters a requirement that child care centers serving more than 20 children must have at least one staff member per 20 children who is certified.
Top of the list here, wait, before we start, we're in voting list number 30, and that's it. We're just at the top of the list, House Bill 150.
Who is certified in basic first aid and cardio CPR training. Under the bill, the Maryland State Department of Education is authorized to set the ratio through regulation. Committee should note that these bills are in different postures. The Senate bill just struck the language from the statute, but the House bill essentially says instead of putting the ratio in law, it allows them to do it through regulation by stating that. It's actually better than the Senate version.
Okay, with that commentary to some extent. Okay, House Bill 150, which seems to be a little better than the product that than our product that we sent out. Is there a motion on House Bill 150? Questions for Stacy? Yes, Senator Gallion.
I noticed, what we voted out was unanimous in the Senate, but there was substantial, votes against the House version. Do you have?
It actually works exactly the same thing. The way the Senate came out, again, we just struck the language from the statute and said, we're trusting MSDE to put in regulation a ratio for this particular product. The House one just strikes the actual ratio and says they must put in regulation a ratio for this particular, for this ratio of staff to children for this circumstance. So it preserves the legislature's authority to say you must do this, but you must do it through regulation.
Any additional questions for Stacy? Okay, is there a motion? Okay, motion favorable from Senator Washington. Is there a second? Second? Second from Senator Hester. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of House Bill 150, raise your hand. All opposed? Okay, we have a dissenting vote from Senator Gallion. That carries 10-1. Let's go to, let's go to House Bill 161.
House Bill 161, Primary and Secondary Education, Comprehensive Health Education Framework established. This bill requires the Maryland State Department of Education, in consultation with the Maryland Department of Health, to develop a comprehensive health education framework that includes at minimum specified topics. Each local board of education must create an age-appropriate curriculum that is consistent with a comprehensive health education framework as specified. There is amendments, substantial amendments in your packet beginning on page 3. Offered by the chair. So this amendment strikes the entire bill as it was introduced. And the language that is offered gets at the concern of the sponsor much more than the language that was introduced as the bill is drafted. So what this would do is it would require curriculum guides and courses of study established by county boards, which is theirs by law, to be aligned with the content standards developed by MSDE. It just clarifies that language. And establishes a process for correcting discrepancies identified by the state superintendent of schools in a county board's curriculum guides and courses of study, including the potential for the imposition of certain penalties. The process works as this. The state superintendent sends the county board a written notice of discrepancy. The county board must meet with the state superintendent within 30 days and establish a corrective plan with implementation timeline approved by the state superintendent. If the county fails to satisfactorily implement the corrective plan within the timeline approved by the state superintendent, the state superintendent would send a written notice of determination of noncompliance to the county board. The county board sends a written notice of confirmation, and they have 30 days to adopt the state-developed curriculum on the topics in the corrective plan only. If the county board continues to fail and does not adopt the state-developed curriculum, the state superintendent is mandated to withhold funds. There's no percentage within the law. It's a reasonable amount of funds as determined by the state superintendent, which is existing law.
Okay, questions for Stacy? Senator Carrozza.
Okay, can you walk through how this will actually work if you're the local school system?
Sure. So for example, the concern of the sponsor in this case was that a particular county's curriculum did not include all of the topics that were required to be included in the content standards. The superintendent would provide a notice of discrepancy to that county. The county superintendent would meet with the state superintendent, and they would develop a corrective plan to make sure the curriculum that is being used by the county with the discrepancies would implement new curriculum that aligned with content standards as required by law. If after the implementation timeline expires and the county has not used the corrective plan that was approved, then they must adopt the state-developed curriculum on that topic only. That's, again, existing law. The state already has developed curriculum in case of other certain circumstances. If the county board fails to adopt that curriculum within 30 days of them being required to under law, then the state superintendent must withhold funds from that county.
So the county still comes up with their own curriculum.
Correct.
It's then reviewed by the state to ensure that it's meeting their guidelines in what specific areas?
So current law already requires, and allows county boards to develop their own curriculum, but it already must align with the content standards developed by the State Department of Education. Those are their two respective roles in law. The concern here is that the county is using curriculum that does not align with and does not implement the state content standards.
So what are the major, so the county's curriculum is being cross-checked with the state's curriculum guides. And I'm asking, what are the specific areas?
Well, this is general. It could apply to anything.
Well, what are the classifications?
What do you mean, what are the
I
classifications?
mean, is it, I mean, so we need to go back to the original bill to find out what's in the bill?
So the content standards are everything that a student must know and the knowledge and the skills that a student must know to graduate. The curriculum is how they learn it. So the textbooks, the books that in an English class that they might teach those particular topics or things like that. So everybody in the state has to know the same knowledge and skills, but each county board is given the authority and how they're going to teach those knowledge and skills.
And I think what I was trying to understand, and maybe if you're saying I have to go back to the old bill to figure it out, what were the specific areas? I mean, that they were, this is very general, and I'm trying to understand what the specific areas and classifications are. And is that in these curriculum guides?
So by regulation, the Maryland College and Career Ready standards are in regulation. That's history, that's math, that's language arts, that's a health curriculum, that is science. All of those things are part of the content standards. And all of the curriculum that is adopted by local boards must align with all of those content standards.
Okay, Senator Washington.
Stacy, so the bill came in focused just on the health framework,
Correct.
But as amended, it's addressing just curriculum and writ large. It's not focused just on LGBT issues or just on health issues. It's, Algebra 2 or just everything. And so using this as an opportunity to say, hey, we want students to learn everything within the entire curriculum and to not pick and choose if it's required.
That's exactly
Okay.
right.
And for what it's worth, the sponsor of the bill, I think, is comfortable with this particular language, so I'll just, if that's relevant to anybody, but Senator Gallion?
So, okay, I understand it takes out, we had questions on the different health things and what you could opt out of and what you couldn't during the original hearing. But overall, this gives MSDA more, I don't know if control is the right word, but takes some away from the locals and gives MSDE more control over local education?
No, I mean, the roles right now are the same exact existing roles. Nothing, this is just a way of making sure that the counties follow through on their obligations under law. The county is already obligated to align with the content standards. That has not changed. That does not change under the bill.
Okay, let's go back to Senator Washington and then Senator Carrozza.
The bill, again, the whole bill was struck, so it doesn't address opting in and out. It doesn't change anything.
No, those
There,
provisions
right.
exist exactly as they exist in regulation currently.
Right, and then, but just focus more squarely on the issue of compliance or non-compliance with state-required curriculum standards.
That's exactly right.
Okay, we'll go to Senator Carrozza, then Senator Simoneau.
So if a county has an opt-out, is that now opt-out has to be cross-checked against the state curriculum guides? on whether that opt-out is permissible?
Current regulations allow one opt-out of content standards. If the county adopts an opt-out that is contrary to that, then yes. Then a notice could be given to the state superintendent. Somebody could let them know and say, look, this curriculum is not compliant with the requirements under law.
When you say one opt-out, you mean of all the different subjects that are taught, you can only pick one opt-out and that's it?
No, only one topic area allows an opt-out, and that's part of the health curriculum for human sexuality. The state regulations do not allow a county to let a student opt out of Algebra 1 or history or language requirements. That is the only topic they allow an opt-out in.
What is the opt-out?
Human sexuality.
The entire?
Yes.
Okay,
And I also had a question about the withholding of the money.
That's existing law.
So so if the state disagrees with a local decision, what is the process of the penalty and is there an appeal?
So under this bill, the county is given 3 opportunities to align with the law. If at the final opportunity they refuse to comply with the law, then the state superintendent must withhold funds. There's not an option. Current law already allows the state superintendent to hold funds under certain circumstances. This is just to say that in this case, it would be mandatory after the 3rd bite of the apple.
okay, Senator Simoner?
Just trying to look that up real quick. So how does the funding work? So if they don't do it, it looks like every 2 months they provide money, they just stop 100% of the money going?
No, there's no threshold required under law. It's a reasonable amount. That would be the,
Just, where is that in law? I'm looking at the 5-205 to see.
it is not written what the specific amount would be. The determination is made by the state superintendent.
Okay.
Any additional questions? Okay, so we have the amendment. We have to take up the amendment. The bill was stricken. The amendment strikes the entirety of the bill. Is there a motion on the amendment from Senator Washington?
Second.
Second from Senator Augustine. Okay, well, let's do a roll call on this one. If we could get could somebody locate, no, just on the amendment that struck the bill, and somebody see if Vice Chair Kagan's out here. Okay. Just on the amendment that strikes the bill and makes it quite different. Okay, we're going to take a roll call on just the amendment.
Okay. Senator Augustine?
Sarah Augustine on the amendment.
Yes. Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion?
Yes, on the amendment.
Senator Gallion, yes. Senator Watson? Yes. Senator Watson, yes. Senator Attar? Yes. Senator Attar, yes. Senator Brooks?
Yes.
Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carozza? Yes. Senator Carozza, yes. Senator Hester? Yes. Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington? Yes. Senator Washington, yes. Senator Sumner, yes. Senator Feldman?
Yes, the amendment carries. We now have House Bill 161 as amended in front of us. Any discussion on the amended version of House Bill 161 from Chair Atterbury? Is there a motion?
Move favorable.
We got a motion from Senator Washington, a second from Senator Augustine. Do a roll call on this one. House Bill 161 as amended.
Senator Augustine?
Yes.
Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion? No. Senator Gallion, no. Senator Watson? Abstain. Senator Watson abstains. Senator Attar? Yes. Senator Attar, yes. Senator Brooks? Yes. Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carozza? No. Senator Carozza, no. Senator Hester? Yes. Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington? Yes. Senator Washington, yes. Senator Simoner? Senator Simoner, no. Senator Feldman?
Okay, yes, the bill carries 6-3 with 1 abstention. This next note, I think we're in need of a couple of non-controversial local delegation bills. So we're going to go, April, to St. Mary's County delegation.
All right. House Bill 480, St. Mary's County, County Plans, Public Sewage Systems, and Water Supply Systems. This local bill repeals requirements and restrictions related to additional local review that must occur before St. Mary's County is authorized to adopt, revise, or amend its county water and sewerage plan for provisions in the county plan related to new or expanded public sewerage systems and water supply systems. There are no amendments. We have a local letter.
Is there a motion? Motion from Senator Simon Ayer, favorable. Second from Senator Hester. All in favor of the local delegation, House Bill 480 from St. Mary's delegation, raise your hand. All opposed? That motion carries unanimously. April, let's go to House Bill 491, also from St. Mary's County delegation.
House Bill 491, St. Mary's County Metropolitan Commission discontinuance of service. This local bill authorizes the St. Mary's County Metropolitan Commission, or METCOM, to discontinue all or any part of a water or sewer service provided to a private property determined to be unsafe, unfit, or unsuitable for human occupancy due to an accident, artificial disaster, or natural disaster. METCOM must suspend the ready-to-serve charge for these properties at the time of discontinuance until the service is restored. Bill authorizes METCOM to assess applicable parties for the full actual cost incurred by METCOM resulting from violations of METCOM rules and regulations by repealing the previous cap of $1,000 for these assessments. There are no amendments. We have a letter from the local delegation.
Okay, is there a motion? Senator Simon Ayer moves favorable. Second from Senator Brooks. All in favor of House Bill 491, raise your hand. All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Let's go down to the bottom of the page. We're second to JPR on House Bill 1060, and it's also Devin's only bill on the list, so we can get him out of here. House Bill 1060, Devin, again, we're in the 2 spot. JPR is already active on this one.
House Bill 1060, Judicial and Public Safety for Service Members Act. This bill generally establishes uniform definitions related to the military and the correctional services, courts and judicial proceedings, criminal law, family law, general provisions, public safety, real property, and state government articles of the Maryland Code, primarily by reference to definitions to the U.S. Code. House Bill 1060 is identical to Senate Bill 280 as it passed the Senate, and EEE is secondary on the bill.
Okay, any questions for Devin? Okay, we got a motion from Senator Simon Ayer, a second from Senator Augustine. Discussion? Okay, all in favor of House Bill 160 as it came to us from JPR, raise your hand. All opposed? That motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, committee.
Okay, have a nice evening. Let's go back, Stacy, to House Bill. Let's just go down the list. House Bill 593.
I promise this is a lot easier. House Bill 593, Public Libraries Automated External Defibrillator Program, the Romano A. Russell Act. This bill requires library, beginning January 1, 2026, to place an automated external defibrillator, an AED, in a prominent area accessible to employees and library users, comply with the Maryland Public Access AED program, and maintain the functionality of the AED. By December 1, 2026, the Maryland Institute for Emergency Medical Services Systems must submit a specified report to the Senate Committee on Education, Energy, and the Environment and the House Ways and Means Committee. There's one amendment in page 9 offered by Senator Watson, and this will conform the House bill and the Senate bill. Actually, we'll just make them identical.
Okay, Senator Watson, I think this was your cross file. What's that? Just move there's an amendment. Yeah, move favorable on that amendment.
Second.
Okay, a motion from Senator Watson, second from Senator Augustine. All in favor of the Watson amendment on House Bill 593, raise your hand. All opposed, motion carries unanimously. We now have House Bill 593 as amended in front of us. Senator Watson, would you like to move the bill? On the bill as amended, House Bill 593 as amended. All in favor of the bill as amended, raise your hand. All opposed, House Bill 593 carries unanimously. Yeah. Okay, let's go to Delegate House Bill 702, Stacy.
House Bill 702, County Boards of Education, Special Education Service Delivery Models, Publication Requirement. This bill requires each local board of education to develop and publish on its website a list of all special education service delivery models provided to parentally placed private school students within the jurisdiction of the local school system. There's one amendment offered on page 11 by the sponsor, Senator Brooks. This clarifies that a county board must publish information about special education services provided by the local school system for parentally placed private school students. It's essentially a clarifying amendment.
Okay, Senator Brooks? Senator Brooks moved the amendment. Second from Senator Washington. All in favor of the Brooks amendment, raise your hand. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We now have House Bill 702 as amended in front of us. Okay, Senator Brooks moves the bill as amended. Second from Senator Augustine. All in favor of House Bill 702 as amended, raise your hand. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. House Bill 747, April.
House Bill 747, Environment On-Site Wastewater Systems, Requirements for Inspection and Pumping Services, and Extension of Sunset and Implementation Dates. This bill requires a landlord of property that is served by an on-site wastewater system or septic system by July 1st, 2028, and before each new tenant occupies the property thereafter to ensure the septic system has been inspected and pumped. Beginning July 1st, 2028, the bill also requires a contract for the sale of real property with a septic system to include a provision requiring, as a condition of the sale, that the purchaser ensure the system has been inspected and pumped out. The bill does not limit a mortgage company or financial institution from requiring a septic system inspection as part of a contract term for the sale or transfer of real property. The bill also delays requirements related to the licensing of certain on-site wastewater service providers by 2 years until July 1st, 2027.
Okay, questions for April? Or were there, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Was an amendment? No. No amendments. So question for April, and we're going to start with Senator Carrozza.
April, I was trying to recall, is this the one where this would be a new requirement on all the wastewaters, all the municipal wastewater systems, or?
No, these are septic
These are
systems.
septics, okay.
Yes.
So how would this affect, for instance, we have some serious issues on the shore, and then we have some groups that have been working with MDE specifically on the septic issues. How would this legislation impact? Is this this is a new requirement on top of that?
Right, so this is for if you're a landlord and you're renting out a property that has a septic system in it. It says that every time you get a new tenant in there, it's a requirement that you have the system inspected and pumped out. If it hasn't been done, I think there's like a 3-year cushion there, but that's a piece of the bill. And then the other piece of the bill is if you are selling a property that has a septic system, the purchaser must, as a condition of the sale, ensure that the septic system has been inspected and pumped out. Correct.
So is it the state employees who work in the local health departments that have the environmental responsibilities that are going to be involved in enforcing this, or and it gets a little confusing because they're state employees, but they work for the local county health department in the environmental service area. I'm just trying to understand how it's going to work in practicality.
Well, the inspections themselves, so it could be done by a local department, but it could also be, you just have to have a license as a property transfer. There's an existing license for property transfer inspectors. So it's just like you would get a house inspection, but it's just sort of an additional license for somebody who has the ability to inspect these septic systems to make sure that they're not in disrepair or failing. In terms of the enforcement of the bill, I actually don't know whether the enforcement is with the department or the locals.
Okay, let's just get questions on the table, and then we could make a decision if we want to just punt this till tomorrow, if we get too many questions. Senator Watson?
Quick question. I mean, I've sold many, many properties, right? And as the seller, I had to make things ready and amenable to the buyer. Just like getting a new roof and making sure all my plumbing and everything works. I'm just curious why the purchaser would be the one to do this and not the seller.
I think it's to make it consistent with, if you're buying a home, typically you as the purchaser are the person who gets the home inspection.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
But
It's a septic
the results
inspection.
of the home inspection, you can take back to the buyer and say, I want these things fixed as a part of the contract. I just don't think the purchaser should be required to clean out somebody else's stuff.
Okay. What about this? Let's hold this one. It's getting a little late here, and people are a little
I want
tired.
an amendment on it.
Yeah, we wait another question before we do that? You want to? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, we may still hold it, but, if you're here, come up here real quick, just get some more information, and we may still just punt this till tomorrow. Yeah, well, we have a Montgomery delegate. I really,
Concept.
okay, let me think. Okay, here, let's get the questions on the table. Senator Hester or Senator Watson, right here. Tell us who you are, so we'll know who the questions are being directed to.
Hi, Emily Ranson with Clean Water Action.
Drew Schmidt-Perkins, representing Team Septics and Back River Precast.
Real simple question. I understand for keeping the septic clean. Just from, former realtor, right? Yeah. From a home purchaser, there are a set of expectations that you expect the house to be in top-notch condition and everything move-in ready. Call it like that. So my only question is, why would not the seller be responsible for ensuring that the septic system is ready to rock and roll? Why would that burden be put on the buyer?
Thank you for the question. As a spouse of a real estate agent, I know where you're coming from. This is just like any of the other inspections that are done at a home by the purchaser. You get the roof inspected, you get a radon inspection, you get a termite inspection, you get whole building inspection. Most mortgages require that the purchaser get the septic inspection. If there's a problem, then you're right. You go back to the owner and say, hey, this valve seems to be a little wonky. It needs to be replaced. But these inspections are always done by the buyer.
Agreed. So, April, I thought you said that the purchaser would be responsible for, they'll do the inspection, but if there's an issue.
Says they have to, well, that's different. The pumping out is not an issue or not an issue. It's just something that has to be done. It says they have to ensure that it's pumped out. It doesn't specify that who has to do it. I mean, the purchaser has to ensure that it's done. It doesn't say that they have to be the one to pay for it, but it does say that it does put that on them.
Yeah, I don't like that part.
And part of the reason for that is because in order to do a high quality inspection, it is really useful to have the system have not just been pumped out. So that way the inspector is able to gauge the condition of the septic system. And so as part of that inspection, ideal situation would be that the pumping is involved in the inspection. So that way you see it full and then you see it empty.
So that's different. So to do the inspection, pumping out of everything is required? Is that what you're saying?
If the system has already been pumped out, then you wouldn't be able to see it in full condition. You would load it, basically flush a bunch of water down in it. But there is value to having that pump out be part of the inspection. So that's why it was included as part, with the inspection.
And this was on the advice of both the septic dealers, the people who do this, and the inspectors on how to have a really thorough inspection so it actually works well. So we relied on the experts for this language.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
The bill is silent, though, on what happens if something goes wrong. Like if you're doing the inspection, like I'm gonna buy the house, I do the inspection and something is wrong.
As part of the contract with, just like if the roof is wrong on the home inspection, it's up to you to decide whether you're going to accept that or whether you're going to ask for them to repair it or cash back. It's just part of the real estate deal at that moment.
Is that clear in the bill?
Yeah, it does not speak to any sort of repairs. The only thing the bill would specifically require is that the, if a failing system is identified, they have to notify the county, basically.
But it's up to the contract. When you're buying a house, all these things, hey, the termites, there's a problem here. Oh, I would like you to repair that. It's all part of that. We didn't want to get into nitty-gritty real estate contract language on this. We just wanted to make sure it was an option at the time of the sale.
Are home inspections required?
No.
They're prudent, right?
And most mortgage companies do require these, but not all. And then there's other times when they're not they're not done because it's interfamily or other reasons that we want these then to be inspected.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Senator Simon, I've gotten multiple requests that we hold this till tomorrow, but you're going to have the last question, then we're going to hold it.
Is this modeled after other states? Is this what all the other states do, or do they vary?
It varies. So in some states, some counties require this. We did model it a little bit after Massachusetts, but this was also coming from the issues that we have in Maryland where we have local waterways that are contaminated from failing septic systems.
And it's also based on the bill that you passed recently to require well inspections at the time of a home sale and a rental transfer. So we modeled it right after that same bill to keep it consistent.
Okay, so guys, we're going to hold this bill, and then the next one, the next bill, 782, we're going to bump that till tomorrow as well. And then let's jam out a bunch of local bills, So let's go to House Bill 964, April.
House Bill 964, Montgomery County Task Force on the Displacement of Residents from Emery Grove. This local bill establishes the Task Force on the Displacement of Residents of Emery Grove, staffed by the Montgomery County Office of Human Rights, to study the urban renewal program carried out from the 1960 through 1985 that caused the displacement of residents of Emery Grove. The task force must report an interim report of its findings and recommendations to the Montgomery County Council, the Montgomery County Executive, and the Montgomery County Delegation to the General Assembly by December 15th, 2025. And a final report by December 15, 2026. The bill takes effect June 1st, 2025 and terminates June 30th, 2027. We have a local letter. There is an amendment in your bill packet being offered by Senator Kagan. The amendment simply corrects the name of formerly the Montgomery County Historical Society, now just Montgomery History.
Okay, Senator Kagan, would you like to move that amendment?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion, second from Senator Caruso. All in favor of that amendment from the Vice Chair? Raise your hand. All opposed, amendment carries. We now have the Montgomery County Local Delegation House Bill 964 bill on the table. Will the Vice Chair from Montgomery moves favorable, second from Senator Brooks. All in favor of 964 as amended, raise your hand. All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Let's go to that second page. And if we can get through the end of this, then we're going to be in good shape here. So let's back to you, April, on a Montgomery County Prince George's delegation, local bill.
House Bill 1064, Montgomery County Planning Board and Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission open meetings live streaming requirement. This bill clarifies that a project site visit or an educational field tour does not constitute an open meeting for the Montgomery County Planning Board or the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission if no organizational business is conducted. Therefore, the requirements to stream live video or audio of specified open meetings is not applicable. We have local letters. There are no amendments.
Okay, is there a motion? Senator Augustine moves favorable on House Bill 1604. Senator Kagan second. All in favor of House Bill 1064, raise your hand. All opposed, motion carries unanimously. April, Montgomery Prince George's local bill again.
Yeah, this one actually we might need to hold. I think Prince George's County is reconsidering some amendments.
Okay, we want to defer to the wisdom of
Yeah, okay.
Before we do that, let's, we'll go to our two Prince George's folks. Senator Augustine.
Speak to it.
House Bill 1065.
Yes, I spoke to the Senator Roosevelt, and what we want to do is move this bill clean without the senator's amendment.
Okay, I mean, do we need another local letter, or are you guys confident that? We're confident. Okay.
Very confident.
All right, House Bill 1065, this local bill clarifies that the Prince George's County Council must appoint at least 3 members of the Board of Appeals in the county, and that a simple majority of board members instead of at least 2 members must concur in any resolution. We have local letters. You can ignore the amendment in the bill packet.
Okay, so the amendment is not on the bill, clean. So we got House Bill 1065, clean. Motion from Senator Augustine. Is there a second from Senator Watson? Okay, all in favor, House Bill 1065 clean, raise your hand. All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Let's go to April, House Bill 1155, Delegate Stein.
Okay. This is not a local bill, but it should still be easy. 1155, Department of the Environment, definition of ecological restoration. This bill is identical to Senate Bill 722 as passed by both the Senate and now also the House. Bill establishes a definition of ecological restoration in the environment article. The only reason this is not on a consent calendar is that Senator Carrozza voted nay in the committee, but actually voted yay on the floor, so I don't know where you are. Okay, so it can be consent calendar.
So do you want to move? Now that you like this bill so much, do you want to move it? Okay, Senator Carrozza moves favorable on House Bill 1155. All second from Senator Hester. All in favor, House Bill 1155, raise your hand. All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Let's go through a couple more, some more delegation bills. House Bill 1167. April.
House Bill 1167, Montgomery County Municipal Authority to Regulate Structures Alterations. This local bill modifies provisions that authorize a municipality or governed special taxing district within the portion of the Maryland-Washington Regional District in Montgomery County to impose specified additional or stricter building requirements than state, regional, or county requirements as described in the bill. There are no amendments. We have local letters.
Okay, any questions? Any motions? Okay, move favorable, Senator Washington. A second from Senator Augustine. Any discussion? All in favor? House Bill 1167 clean, raise your hand. All opposed? That motion carries unanimously. 1195, April.
House Bill 1195, Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission, membership reporting, billing, and planning. This bill alters the membership and operations of the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission, or WSSC. Bill requires WSSC to submit its long-range comprehensive financial plans and updates of commission policies to the Montgomery and Prince George's County Councils and publish certain information on its website, among other things. There are no amendments. We have local letters.
Okay.
Favorable.
Okay, favorable from Senator Kagan, second from Senator Augustine. House Bill 1195, it's in front of us, clean. All in favor? Raise your hand. All opposed. Motion carries unanimously. House Bill 1230, another bi-county, Montgomery County, Prince George bill.
House Bill 1230, Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission, System Development Charge Exemptions. This local bill requires the Montgomery County Council and Prince George's County Council to grant exemptions from the system development charge imposed by the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission for specified properties and projects in Montgomery County. Bill requires Montgomery County to approve applications for the exemptions on a first-come, first-served basis until the maximum annual limit, including any unused amounts from a prior fiscal year, is reached. By October 1st each year, Montgomery and Prince George's counties must report to their respective delegations information relating to the exemptions. There are no amendments. We have local letters.
Okay, favorable, Senator Augustine, second from Senator Simon Ayer. House Bill 1230, we have letters from both delegations. All in favor, House Bill 1230, raise your hand. All opposed, motion carries unanimously. House Bill 1322.
House Bill 1322, we're not a local bill. This is a cross-filed bill. House Bill 1322, Natural Resources Vessels Carbon Monoxide Warning Labels, Matthews Law. This bill prohibits a person from operating a gasoline-powered vessel manufactured after July 31st, 2007 on the waters of the state unless the vessel has carbon monoxide warning labels affixed in conspicuous locations in the vicinity of both the transom and the helm of the vessel. This is the cross-file of Senate Bill 1028, which passed the Senate unanimously. There are amendments in your voting packet being offered by the bill sponsor, Delegate Benyon-Melnick. It's page 23 of the voting packet. The amendments incorporate language added to the Senate cross-file prohibiting DNR from imposing a penalty for violations of the bill's requirements. They also apply the bill only to vessels that have, quote, accommodation spaces, swim platforms, or aft lounging areas. So this is similar to, but not quite the same as the Senate amendments, which those referred only to cabins or closed living spaces. This is a little bit broader. These were, my understanding, talking to the Senate sponsors, staff.
Senator Guile was cross-filed.
Right. Right, that this is, these reflect the recommendations of the National Marine Manufacturers Association, that carbon monoxide poisoning can still be an issue even if you don't have sort of an enclosed cabin space. If you, for example, have a canopy over the vessel, if you have an aft lounging area where people are potentially breathing in fumes, or if you're on a swim platform, right where the exhaust is. The other thing that I will note that is different is the House version sticks with gasoline-powered vessels. This committee had voted to move it to motorized vessels to encapsulate diesel power. Both senators are requesting that we restore, and the House, I believe, is already restoring the Senate version to just be gasoline-powered. This version is currently just gasoline-powered. Again, this is a recommendation of the National Marine Manufacturers Association. Gasoline actually produces a lot more carbon monoxide than diesel does.
You say Senator Guile, did she have a
Senator
opinion?
Guile would like us to go with this bill with the Senator, or with Delegate Benyon-Melnick's requested amendments.
Yes, Vice Chair Kagan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. April, you just said gasoline is a lot more toxic. Is diesel not toxic at all, or like it can't kill somebody?
So it's the carbon monoxide?
Yes, sorry,
Right.
yes.
So the statistics that they gave me, a gasoline engine could emit 35,000 parts per million of carbon monoxide emissions at idle, while a diesel engine could just emit 250 parts per million. So it's orders of magnitude.
Right, hold on. 35 parts per million?
35,000 parts per
Thank
million
you, that's
versus
different.
250
Got it.
parts per million.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Senator Carrozza.
I just want to understand the amendments, because I recall, wasn't Senator Bailey involved with the amendments to Senator Giles' bill initially? And I thought those were accepted.
For the enclosed cabin space, yes.
Okay.
again, the amendments that Delegate Penyon-Milnick is offering are just a little bit more expansive, because the original bill didn't say anything. So, if you had just a kind of flat skiff with a outboard motor, you would be covered by the bill as originally drafted. And his point was that seems silly. There's very little monoxide risk there. So the Senate version his version talked about accommodation space, cabins or closed living spaces.
So those are like the down.
Right. If you've got a down below to go to. This is, so Delegate Penyon-Milnick's are sort of a compromise between the two of those. And so it would say accommodation spaces, so that would be the cabins that Senator Bailey's amendment covered. But then also, this bill would apply if you had a swim platform.
On the boat.
On the boat,
Okay.
So, or an aft lounging area.
Okay.
So, open, but maybe you've got a canvas cover and you've got a seating area in the back.
But just applying to the boat, we're not getting into dock. I mean, it's just the boat, the vessel.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, Senator Simoner?
Yeah, trying to listen to what you said. So is this bill basically just a suggestion to do it? So if a DNR police jumps on your boat and say, hey, you don't have a label, what happens?
They do not have the ability to impose a penalty, so what they would tell you,
So it's a suggestion.
get a label.
Nope. Can't write a citation, right?
No, can't impose a penalty.
We're suggesting.
They could, they could tell
Okay,
you.
does everybody have enough? So Senate sponsor, Senator Gao would like to go with the Penyon-Milnick language. So we've got a favorable from House Bill, on House Bill 1322 from.
The amendment.
Oh, I'm sorry, on the amendment. We need an amendment first, yeah, from Senator Augustine, the amendment. Second, from Senator Simoner. All in favor of the amendment, raise your hand. All opposed? We've got 1322 as amended in front of us. Okay, Senator Augustine moves favorable. Second from Vice Chair Kagan. Discussion. All in favor, House Bill 1322 as amended, raise your hand. All opposed? That motion carries unanimously. April, no, Stacy. Let's go to the Hettleman-Attar bill, Senate Bill 673. If we can find Stacy. Oh, got to get Stacy. She's gone. Let's get her. Okay, so we're down to the Hettleman-Attar bill, Senate Bill 673. B&T is second. So when you have a chance, tell us what the bill does.
Senate Bill 673, Education Maryland STEM Program established. This bill establishes the Maryland STEM program in the Maryland State Department of Education to provide additional compensation to current public school teachers to teach science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM classes at non-public schools beginning in the 25-26 school year. Subject to the availability of funds, MSDE must award grants that are at least equal to the number of hours the teacher teaches STEM classes at the non-public school multiplied by the average hourly salary of a public school teacher in the local school system multiplied by 1.25. A local school system may object to an employee's participation, and MSDE must reject the application if the objection is valid. For each fiscal year, the governor must include in the annual budget bill the appropriation of $250,000 to MSDE for grants under the program. There is an amendment on last page from Senator Attar. Actually, she has two amendments. This amendment strikes the appropriation language. And she is also offering the non-discrimination requirement language that is in the boost bill. So that would say To be eligible to participate in the Maryland STEM program, a non-public school must comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 as amended, Title 20, Subtitle 6 of the State Government Article, and not discriminate in student admissions, retention, or expulsion, or otherwise discriminate against any student on the basis of race, color, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity or expression. Nothing herein shall require any school or institution to adopt any rule, regulation, or policy that conflicts with its religious or moral teachings. However, all participating schools must agree that they will not discriminate in student admissions, retention, or expulsion, or otherwise discriminate against any student based on race, color, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity or expression. There is language in here that also says if a non-public school does not comply with these, it shall reimburse MSDE, but the funds actually go to the teacher, not the school, so I don't think that is actually applicable.
Senator Otari, you want to add anything? My understanding is that this model is a very successful program out of New Jersey that's been in existence for many years. But
That's my understanding as well. And we're going to be removing the fiscal notes. I know that was a big concern for a lot of people. And then we're adding the anti-discrimination language, which I worked out with MSEA. We were in talks about that today to get the exact language. So I move the amendments.
Second.
get a motion from Senator Otari, second. Is it two separate amendments or are they both?
Removes the mandatory appropriation.
Right. Okay, so that's incorporated in this vote. A second from Senator Washington. Yeah, well, let's do a roll call. Okay, any just more questions about this before we, yes, Senator Brooks.
Just one quick question. Stacy, how does the executive order on DEI, how would that interplay with this?
Fact, I mean, this is just saying non-discrimination, which is already existing law because you're talking about a Title VI of the Civil Rights Act.
Okay. All right, thanks. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, right now, we're just on the Otari amendment. So there was a motion, a second. Let's do a roll call on this one. Vice Chair requested that, so we're going to do a roll call. Lemoria?
Senator Kagan?
Aye.
Senator Kagan, yes. Senator Augustine? Yes. Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion?
Yes.
Senator Gallion, yes. Senator Watson? Yes. Senator Watson, yes. Senator Otari? Senator Otari, yes. Senator Brooks? Yes. Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carozza? Yes. Senator Carozza, yes. Senator Hester? Yes. Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington? Yes. Senator Washington, yes. Senator Simonaire? Yep. Senator Simonaire, yes. Senator Feldman?
Yes, that amendment carries. Senator Otari, would you like to move the bill as amended? Okay, we've got a motion, a second on Senate Bill 673 as amended. All in favor? Raise your hand. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. In any event, that completes the work on the list. With that said, yes.
I thought we were on the last bill first. I want to make a motion to reconsider House Bill 983. I was given additional information between the last vote on the amendment that I voted on.
Okay.
So I'd like to reconsider the vote.
And we're talking specifically about the second amendment.
The second amendment, yes.
About
Yes, I'd
plain
like to
language
reconsider
amendment.
that
Okay, just so we're clear what we're reconsidering. Okay, is there a? Well, we can reconsider that amendment, and then we will then have to revote the bill without that amendment. Well, no, we took a vote on a bill as amended. What's being, the motion for reconsider is the bill. Oh, yeah, okay, legit. Okay, we need to reconsider the actual
I make a
vote
motion
by
to-
which we passed the bill. Okay,
I make a motion to reconsider the vote by which we passed House Bill 983.
okay. Is there a second? Okay, all in favor of reconsidering it? I need a little parliamentary, I used to be the parliamentarian of the House of Delegates, but you know, I don't remember my, okay, all in favor? Yeah, you gotta be on the, what?
I've been on this committee for 14 years. So
Yeah.
the rules change.
Okay.
When, I know with one, at least, it had to be unanimous in the committee
To
to
do
do a
what?
reconsideration. Yeah, it did.
Well, I don't think so.
No, we made up our own rules in the committee. That's, I was just asking what the rule was.
You got a new chair.
We haven't done this before. The rules, simple majority motion.
That's fine.
Okay, so Okay, did we take, did everybody, we took a vote just to reconsider what we did previously, so that carried. It's just on the, specifically, House Bill 983. We passed that bill as amended. Now we have a motion to reconsider that vote that we passed that bill, to take it back.
Yes, we need to reconsider.
Yeah, well, we just did that. We took that vote to reconsider that vote. I think it was unanimous. Looked like, okay, okay. And it was, okay, let's do it again. Let's strike that vote. What's that?
I'm sorry, since you said you didn't raise your hand on it.
Okay, okay. So let's do this. We're going to take a roll call on the motion to reconsider, and let's just do a roll call so there's no confusion. This is, again, to reconsider the vote on the bill that we passed.
Senator Augustine.
Yes.
Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion. Senator Gallion, no. Senator Watson. Senator Watson, yes. Senator Attar. Senator Attar, yes. Senator Brooks.
Yes.
Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carozza. Senator Carozza, no. Senator Hester. Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington. Senator Washington, yes. Senator Salmonair. You passing?
Yes.
All right. Senator Feldman.
Okay, yes, so now we have, Ross, we're going to go back to Senator Attar, parliamentary. We want to get this right process-wise. Now we're back to Senate Bill 983 again, House Bill 983, I'm sorry.
Chair, I now make a motion to reconsider the vote on the amendment that includes a simple ballot language in the bill. So the
Okay.
last amendment we took on.
Does everybody understand what we're moving to reconsider and take another vote on that second amendment that we adopted, but now we're reconsidering that. We're going to do a separate vote. The second
Yes.
Kagan amendment, correct.
Yes.
So let's do a roll call on,
So
Sim-
yes vote would take it off.
No, a yes, yeah, well, it takes you back to before the amendment was adopted, so yes.
okay.
All right,
Okay, let's
Senator
get this process perfectly correct. Is that, a yes vote will take us back, okay, to,
Senator
okay?
Augustine. Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion. No. Senator Gallion, no. Senator Watson. Senator Watson, yes. Senator Attar. Senator Attar, yes. Senator Brooks. Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carozza. Senator Carozza, no. Senator Hester. Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington. Senator Washington, yes. Senator Salmonair.
No.
Senator Salmonair, no. Senator Feldman.
Yes. So that motion carries. Okay, so we have a motion now on 983 in the newly amended version of the bill that does not include that second Kagan amendment, and we had a second from Senator Washington. We'll again do a roll call on this one. We good, Lamar? Everybody understands what we have just done?
All right. Senator Augustine. Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion. Senator Gallion, no. Senator Watson. Senator Watson, yes. Senator Attar. Senator Attar, yes. Senator Brooks. Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carozza. Senator Carozza, no. Senator Hester. Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington. Senator Washington, yes. Senator Salmonair.
I believe in resurrection, but I'm going to do now.
Senator Salmonair, no. Senator Feldman.
Yes, so the bill now moves and passes in a somewhat different form. And Senator Augustine, you want?
Move to confine to the bill that you just passed.
Okay, so it's a cross-file, the Augustine cross-file this bill. This is a motion to conform the two bills. Can we we'll take the same, we'll count the same, everybody good with the same vote on both bills? Raise your hand if everybody, that motion to conform and use the same vote, raise your hand. Okay, so everything's consistent. Okay, that completes our work for, we have a couple of concurrences. Let's just jam them out. Come on. We're on a roll here. Last week of session here. Concur from Senator Salmonair, second from Senator Washington. All in favor of the motion to concur, raise your hand. All opposed, motion carries. House put their, yeah.
Senate Bill 266. This is departmental bill.
From Senator Hester, second from Senator Augustine. So it's concurring to what this committee already sent out.
Right, so the House amended it to be identical to.
Our
the
bill.
House, to the House cross file, which this committee already passed clean.
Okay, so all in favor of motion to concur, raise your hand. All opposed? Okay, well, here, just let's clarify again, April, let's strike that. I just want everybody, we sent a bill out. Okay, just one more time, April, just so everybody knows, there's no confusion.
So this is, so the cross file of this bill is House Bill 286. This committee voted 9-2 to move that bill clean. The House amended the Senate cross file, which is Senate Bill 266, to conform to that House bill, which includes this additional language under the ecology planning principle. So if you want to see what that language is, pull up House Bill 286 and look at the third reader. This committee already voted that bill clean. The two votes opposed were Senator Gallion and Senator Carrozza.
Same vote.
Yeah.
No on the concurrence, no on the bill.
Okay, that's fine.
Right, okay, so we still need to take a motion to concur. That doesn't alter anything, so that the motion to concur does not alter your vote. Okay, all in favor of the motion to concur, raise your hand. All opposed? Okay, that motion carries. How many more we got?
Two more.
Two more.
So Senate Bill 236, Maryland Department of Planning Modernization. This departmental bill makes various changes to state law relating to data that is collected by the Department of Planning. The House amendments clarify language regarding population projections developed by the Baltimore Metropolitan Council, the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments, and their member jurisdictions. The amendments conform the bill to the House cross-file as already passed by this committee. I believe that vote was unanimous, but let me pull that up just to make sure.
Favorable to concur.
Okay, well, April's grabbing that. We have a motion to concur from Senator Washington, a second from
that
Senator
vote was
Augustine, and that was a
unanimous.
unanimous vote. Okay, all in favor of the motion to concur, raise your hand. All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Final
Final one, Senate Bill
Work for today.
315. Maryland Environmental Service Membership of Board of Directors alterations. This bill alters the composition of the Board of Directors of the Maryland Environmental Service by replacing the state treasurer with the Secretary of Planning or the Secretary's designee. House amendments add 2 non-voting members from the Senate and the House. Again, identical to the version of the bill that this committee has already passed.
Yeah, we actually had, we had that on the floor today. Senator Brooks was, okay, we got the floor leader on this topic, the expert on this MES award stuff. Senator Brooks moves to concur, a second from Senator Augustine. All in favor, motion to concur, raise your hand. Okay, that motion carried unanimously. And I think the people of the state of